Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's Market Monkey Trades. I hope you had a good trading day. Today I want to go over my supply and demand trade I made over $400 on. It's going to be a very insightful video, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end. Before we jump into the video, I just want to go over Market Monkey LLC on Instagram. We have a really insightful Instagram where I go over my trades, give you guys the whole entry, exit, and my thought process behind it. And of course, marketmonkeytrades.com has my supply and demand course and every other thing there. Alright, so today I just want to go over this trade really quick and show you guys the power of supply and demand. Now, recently we've been obviously in a bear trend, so I like to trade the direction of the market. Now, if we look at a day chart, we've been in this bear trend for about 2-3 weeks now. Okay, so I'm gonna look for puts at supply zones because recently supply zones have been holding up very well and demand zones not so much. Now, if you can see here on the daily, sorry, it's a little convoluted with all my supply and demand zones, but this 200 SMA, it's 44.05. We were under that for the daily when we opened, so that also gave me confirmation that puts to the downside might be better today because I like to trade the direction of the market and of other indicators. So it's really important that you combine indicators with supply and demand. You're not just looking to make moves at supply and demand zones. You're looking for supply and demand zones just to give you an area of interest. And then you're looking at other indicators to prove that this area of interest will be valid. Now, obviously, if you're going to trade supply and demand, you have to be looking at, so I trade supply and demand for the S&P 500. If you're going to trade the S&P 500, you have to be looking at what's moving the S&P 500. So what really is moving the S&P 500? It's top holdings, which is Microsoft and Apple. Now, if you can see, Microsoft and Apple's movement is basically identical, and that movement is basically identical to the market. So it shows you that Microsoft and Apple obviously moves the S&P 500 because the S&P 500 holds those two stocks, and those are like the biggest stocks. So I like to look at those when I'm trading the zones. Those give me an indicator where I want to get in and get out as well, because it shows me where the S&P 500 is basically going to move. Now, another thing that I think is very important is the market moves in waves, okay? So you have to be able to hold your position even when the price is going up or when the price is going down. If you're losing money on the position, that doesn't mean to sell your position. What means to sell your position is when your plan doesn't work out and you hit your stop loss, okay? So I got in about, I think it was right over here at the break of the 200 SMA. Now, this came all the way back down, and it hit the 90 MA and bounced right back up to my spot. In fact, I think it actually went a little higher, so I entered it in right here. Now, I was down about $200 on this trade, but there was no reason for me to sell because my plan, I didn't hit my stop loss. I set my stop loss at the highs around here, or maybe at the high of the supply zone. But I sell when my trade doesn't work out and it hits my stop loss, not when I see red on my P&L. So it's very important not to look at your P&L because this price action in between zones is just noise. It's just noise. When the volume price action really just moves from zone to zone, and all the price action in between is just noise. So I got in here when I saw volume coming in, and it actually rebounded off the 90 MA and actually got me into the negative territory on my P&L. But that doesn't scare me. That doesn't make me nervous because all of this price action in between these zones is just noise. And obviously, guys, again, I like to look at the 15-minute time frame or the 30 to the hour because that's what banks look at. Banks don't look at like the 1 minute or 5 minute. They're not scalpers. They're looking for key levels, and they look at the higher time frames. So when I'm trading supply and demand, I look at the 15-minute, and that's also going to help you not get too nervous, see your P&L go crazy, see your charts go crazy. So obviously there was no reason for me to sell. And we're coming down here, and I was very, very confident that this would go to the downside as soon as I saw Microsoft and Apple break through VWAP. Again, guys, right here. Again, give yourself other indicators to make you more confident that your trade is going to work out. Don't just enter in supply and demand zones because they don't always work. In fact, it's like 75% of the time for me that they work. So you have to understand what moves the market, trade off those levels, and understand that supply and demand is just areas of interest, okay? And obviously none of this works if there isn't volume coming in and price action coming in, okay? So supply and demand zones obviously aren't going to hold up if there's no volume coming in. So when I saw volume coming in, I got in. My P&L went back down to the negative side, but I held on because the P&L doesn't tell me to sell. My stop loss tells me to sell. So it comes all the way down, taps this demand zone, and I sell, take my profits. Now I could have held a little bit longer down all the way to the demand zone, but as soon as it touches that demand zone, I'm looking to get out. So if I enter a demand zone here, I'm looking to get out at supply. If I enter a supply zone here, I'm looking to get out at demand. Overall, great trade for me. I made around $400. It was on Market Monkey Trades on my Instagram. I show you guys my entries and exits. So it's definitely worth looking at that. But a couple key takeaways from this video. Don't look at your P&L. Your stop loss is where you sell. And don't look at your P&L if you're making money, because when you sell at your plan, at your key level, you don't sell when you're down money, you don't sell when you're up money unless you hit your levels, unless you fall through your whole key plan. Okay? And also combines supply and demand with other indicators like Microsoft breaking VWAP and Apple breaking VWAP, or reaching the supply zone, or VWAP plays 9 SMA, 9 EMA, 200 SMA, whatever you want. Combine these areas of interest with other indicators to make you guys confident to get in the trade. And that is basically it for today. I make supply and demand videos almost every day here on Market Monkey Trades. So definitely drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.